Today, we pause to honor a man whose voice still echoes through our streets, our laws, and our conscience, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. For some of us, his words weren't history. They were headlines. They were moments we remember watching on black and white televisions, hearing whispered at dinner tables, or feeling in the tension of the times. For others, Dr. King arrived through textbooks, documentaries, and sound bites, yet his message still feels unfinished. Born on January 15, 1929, Dr. King didn't just dream. He organized. He challenged power. He endured boycotts, jail cells, threats, and ultimately paid the highest price, pushing America to live up to its promise. Today, we're not just celebrating his birthday. We're reflecting on his work, his strategy, and the impact he had while he was alive. From bus boycotts to landmark legislation, and we're doing it across generations. Asking what Dr. King meant then and what he still demands from us now. This is Are You For Real podcast? Let's talk about it. Hello, and welcome back to our 9th episode. I am your co-host, Cheryl Johnson, better known as Cece, and this is...
I'm Miss T,
your hostess with the mostest. So we're going to go ahead and get started.
So guys, we are here to celebrate the life and legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. In fact, the day where we're taping is his real birthday. He was born January the 15th, 1929. And so today he would be 97 years. Can you believe that?
Wow.
He lived a life. And in the short time, because we say the short time because he was born in 29, but from 1955 to 1968 when he was grossly assassinated, he did so much in his lifetime. He really fought for all people.
All people.
All people try to think that he just was fighting but he was fighting for the rights of all people.
Right.
Black, white, brown, and yellow. And yes, he was fighting for us too because we didn't have our civil rights. We couldn't vote or anything like that. But he had character and integrity. And what I liked about him, he was really fighting for nonviolent, and he did it that way. A lot of people criticized, and I'm not one that I could be nonviolent.
Right, he was nonviolent because he was a Christian.
Right.
Yeah,
he was a Baptist minister.
Yeah, he didn't see color or anything. So, he for everyone.
Yeah, he was. But he was a husband. He was married to Coretta Scott King. And she made her own legacy before she left here, because she was really fighting for what he stood for after he was assassinated. So God really put them together. He was also a father. He had 4 children, Yolanda and Dexter, who are no longer with us, and then Martin III, and pastor, and I believe she's also a doctor, Bernice King. And I got to hear and see Bernice King when I lived in California a couple of times, and she is a great orator just like her daddy. I mean, she's very good. And I got to meet Martin III. He came to our church where I was a member, and I think he got to meet with the pastor and his family and everything. And when they were rushing him out, because they had the FBI there, they had the local police there. I mean, they had everybody there.
Right.
And so they were rushing them past us because, we were just a little peons, there. And so he saw us over there and he said, "Oh, wait a minute." So he came over to us and he acknowledged us and he shook hands with us.
Did you give him the look?
I did. And I put that hand out there too.
I knew it.
I put that hand out there too.
Circle back around. Circle back around.
So and I know that their parents would be very proud of them, because I'm proud of them.
Right.
Of what they're doing and to do what their parents, to follow in the lead of what their parents did.
Exactly.
So they really there. So that was there. He was also a brother. He had siblings, and he also was a Baptist minister.
Yes.
He was a godly man, and people don't really say. They always say Martin Luther King Jr., but they never put the Reverend and Doctor.
Reverend Doctor. Is it
Reverend
Doctor Martin Luther King?
Right. Jr. So, and he was a godly man, and he had character and integrity. So I really, thank him for that. And he was a civil rights leader, and he was an author. He was an orator, excellent orator, and he was just a humanitarian.
Yes, he was.
He was just a good person.
He was.
So he did a lot.
And there's been no one else like him.
No, and I don't know if there'll be anyone else like him.
One of a kind. He was definitely one of a kind.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And like I said, he fought for the rights of all people. And he also, I don't know, some people know, and I didn't really know this, that when he graduated from high school, he was 15.
I know. He
was 15.
Yeah, he went to college early. Yeah.
And so he went to Morehouse,
and
he graduated, and the one of his professors at the high school where it was at that time, he said, well, he wasn't a standout student, but he had a good mind. Well, I guess Martin took that seriously, and he said once he went to college, he really buckled down and studied. So he delivered the valedictorian address at the commencement. So that shows how he was.
How he changed.
Yeah. And he wanted to really make a statement, and he really wanted to help this country and to get back to the love one another, treat people like we want to be done. And he got a doctorate of philosophy. And of course, he got the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yes, of course.
So, we are proud of him. And I believe the nation is proud of him.
Yes.
And so he did a lot of things. And there are a lot. So I'm asking people too. I told Cheryl about this. I wanted to show you guys this. This is a book of, and I've had this book for years. This is like book that you can talk on the table, a table book conversation.
Yeah, coffee table.
So
book.
what I'm asking people to do is come back and remember our history. This is American history. It's not just Black history. This is American history. So we need to review of the things and accomplishments that we, as a people, and it's only one race, the human race, but there are different nations and languages, and in the Bible it says even tribes of people. And so let's know what our history is, so that we will not repeat it. And that's some of the things that he really encouraged me to get involved. I was involved in politics for about 20 years. And do you guys know that Democrats and Republicans used to campaign together?
Yes.
Why can't we do that now? Some people are trying to divide it. But you know what? I think that America is waking up, and we need to get together and work together. And we need to be the people of God that we say we are. So that's just some of the things that I had to say about Martin Luther King. And this is the book.
Yes. And also what I love about Martin Luther King, a lot of people don't know, he fought for a lot of our rights. He passed a lot of bills.
Right.
Even the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights of 1965.
That's right.
Like, he also had a lot to do with fair housing. He fought that, people of color will be treated fairly, for housing, to get housing, because there was a point in time where we were not allowed to live where we wanted to live just based on the color of our skin. So he had a lot to do with abolishing, that discrimination. Right. So we're going to go ahead and get into our first question of this segment. Okay, so first question, Miss T, Dr. King believed economic pressure was just as powerful as protests. From the Montgomery bus boycott to mass demonstrations, how effective do you think these tactics were, and could they work the same today?
Well, I believe they were really effective because they were nonviolent, and you don't give violence with violence. And they were very effective, as you said. We got the civil rights bill from
Yes.
and for the voting rights bill like that. And I think it's effective today because as long as you're protesting peacefully. And see, that's the thing about, and there's always some agitators, some people that are trying to come and really divide this country. But we need to not take the bait, as they say.
Yes.
We need to think for ourselves. We need to listen and get off that social media, because a lot of stuff on there is misinformation. And then there are people on there who are just miserable people, and they want everybody to be miserable with them. And I think that we should try to enjoy this country. This country has been blessed. And
Yes.
You said God bless America, but America needs to bless God.
We have the most freedoms of any country in the world.
Right.
And I mean, we're one of the most richest countries too. So there should not be a need for poverty and homelessness. It's a lot of things that we're not focusing on that other countries do. And to answer the question as well, I do believe that economic pressure was very powerful. I mean, just look at the boycott against Target with the DEI scandal. Right now, we're the #1 consumers in America. So we definitely have control of how the dollar flows.
Right.
So all we have to do is just stick together, with one plan and move forward. We can make a lot of change if we only would just stick together. Okay, so Dr. King preached nonviolence even when the country responded with violence.
Right.
Do you think his philosophy was a strength, or easily of the time, or a limitation?
I think that it was a strength, because I cannot see really having violence with violence.
Right.
Now, I really admire the people that went to these different counters and sat there. They had to be trained. They had to go through a lot of training to not to do evil for evil.
Right.
And when they were asking us to volunteer to go and sit at those counters, that was not me. I do not believe in violence, but I do not believe in you touching me or having violence against me. So God says, vengeance is mine, I will repay. But at that time, at my age, I was going to repay. So I admired him and all the people that were nonviolent, because I believe in nonviolence, but I do believe in you not touching me either.
Right. I also believe that being able to control yourself and not act on violence is a strength.
Right.
Being easy for the times, I would have to agree, because a lot of people back then, they couldn't do a lot to make change, or they were afraid to, because they would lynch us and kill us. Right. So a lot of people strayed away from trying to make a point, or didn't want to get involved because they didn't want to die.
Right.
Now, is it different generations and what we're approaching now? I mean, nowadays, we're not taking the violence. Like, we have the right to bear arms now. The laws have changed, and if you want to come up against us, we're gonna fight back. Yeah. I mean, it's not gonna be the same as it was. We will fight back if we're pushed to that limit.
Yeah, and it does make you really look at it, because everybody just wants to live,
survive,
to live a comfortable life, and we're all human and we're all people. And so if you want to live in a nice neighborhood, in a nice place, why don't you think that somebody else will? Because we're all one race, and we're all the human race. We all want the same thing.
We want the best. We want beautiful neighborhoods and no crime. Everybody wants that. That's not something that we just wake up in the morning and say, oh, we just want to live in a place where there's a liquor store on every corner. Right. That's not what we strive for. We strive for excellence, just as our counterparts.
Right.
So the idea of that, we just want to be equal. That's all that we want.
We need equality.
We need equality. His work. You see, Dr. King didn't just march. His work helped lead a real legislation like the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights of 1965. How important was it that the movement translated into law, and do you feel that those gains have been protected over time?
Well, looking at it now, it seems like they're trying to take away those laws, and people worked very hard, and people lived and died for those rights. And so I am very adamant about voting. Voting is a right. You know, it's a privilege. It's not a privilege. It's a right that I am supposed to have, just like anybody else.
Right.
And I do vote. I make sure I vote. And for all of you who don't vote, shame on you, because there are too many people that die for our rights. And if we didn't have the right, then you'd be upset about the right. So why don't you take advantage of it and do what is right, and vote.
A lot of people who talk a lot about politics, they don't even vote.
Right.
So when I'm talking to somebody and I don't know, it just, you kind of know a non-voter. I don't know, just their rhetoric that they're talking, the way they talk. You can tell when somebody has voted and someone has not, to me, in a sense. So they'll talk and I'll say, did you vote? And they'll say no. I'll say, okay, that's the end of the conversation. Right. I'm not going to go back and forth with a person who is not voting. Right. You don't have a say. If you didn't go to the polls to make your say on paper, to make changes, I don't feel you have nothing to say. But most people who don't vote, they have a lot to say about politics.
Right. And your vote does count. A lot of people say, well, my vote doesn't count. Even if it doesn't count and you think that they don't count it, I'm voting it anyway, because I have that right, and I'm taking advantage of that right. And like I said, I grew up in the segregated South, and I thank God for my parents, because they never talked black or white. They talked about right and wrong.
Right.
That's all they talked about. And another thing, when I grew up and I grew up in the segregated South, but my first playmates were Italian, and we didn't even discuss. I never heard my parents say, well, they're Italian, you shouldn't play for them, or blah 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 blah, and vice versa, because we were kids, and so you learn that behavior of difference. So people are taught that. Yeah, that's not automatic. No. Because if a child, when he looks at you, I don't care what color you are, he'll come and want you to hug him and pick him up. So I think we need to learn from the kids. Maybe we need to go back to the basics.
Yeah, hate is a learned behavior. Yeah, it's taught. And just to get back to, do I feel those gains have been protected over time? I mean, I do believe that our laws, they stick to a certain extent, but it just depends on who the person is over you and how they're managing over you. So you have to stand up for yourself and stand up for what you believe in and fight. Like, if that means suing or, writing a letter, whatever you have to do to make it right, you should always stand up for your rights, because she said so many people have fought and died to get those laws in place. But it only takes one person to go against something, and it's up to you to make sure that they follow and stand in, and go walk down that straight line. It's totally up to you. Don't let people, treat you any old kind of way. You need to report it and do what you have to do to make it right.
And so many people don't, because they're afraid of the consequences. And you just have to, because a lot of times people respect you when you stick up for yourself.
Right.
Because I respect myself. I'm going to respect you. I respect myself. But in order to get respect, I need you to respect me too.
Right. And that's where boundaries come in. Right. You have to have boundaries. The old saying, if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. Right. That's one of my favorite quotes.
That's a good one.
Okay. So as Dr. King grew older, he spoke boldly about economic justice, poverty, and even opposing the Vietnam War. Why do you think this side of him gets less attention?
Because a lot of people didn't agree with it. And I guess they didn't think that he should have spoken out about it. And it was controversial.
Yes.
And then a lot of our guys went to war. And he didn't think they should have gone to war.
No.
And so a lot of them got killed. And I just thank God that, you know, my brother and my cousins, they all survived. All of them that went to the service, because some of them just went on and volunteered, you know, instead of being drafted, because they just wanted to kind of go where they wanted to go. And if you got drafted, they send you anywhere they wanted to send you.
Right.
So they did that. But it was a war that was very controversial. But we still need to support the military, our guys, because they fought. And a lot of them lost their lives, and a lot of them lost their limbs. And I just, when I see a veteran, I admire them, because there's no way I would volunteer to be in the military. I'm sorry. I don't want nobody telling me when to get up, when to go, where to go, when to go.
You become a property of the government. You can't do what you want to do. So, I don't think I would ever go to the service. I'm not a soldier.
Yeah. Well, and that has to be in you.
But I mean, I have the fight in me, but not to be in the service. 2, 3, 4. I can't do it. I want to. And for me to answer that question, I just think the country loves to edit discomfort. Like they don't want to tell the truth about how bad it really is, or how bad they are, and how bad people treat other people in this country. They don't want to talk about it. I mean, there's still people that I know who don't believe that there's actual racism to this day. They just don't believe it. Like, they can't see it. Even when it's right in front of their face, they make excuses or make you feel like you're crazy if you think, oh, you're playing the race card. But it's always an issue when you go in. When you walk into a room, you have that feeling like, you know, I hope that they're going to treat me fairly. I hope there don't going to be no problems. I hope that, you know, people are going to be nice and be respectful. But for most of us, every room we walk into, it's not that way. It's just not. It's just not.
We do have to think about that. And some people don't have to ever think about it.
Right.
But we have to think about it and say, now, is this the way everybody else is being treated? Are you treating me differently? And why is that? So being raised in the South and living all around the country, you know, people are people. There are good people on both sides. You know, there are good people in your family, and there's some people in your family that aren't good. So you just can't say one race of people is bad, you know. So, you know, like I said, there's good people everywhere. There's good people on both sides.
Yes.
You know, one side can't say, oh, well, this side, because you got good and bad in all of it.
In all people, in all races.
Yeah.
So you just have to take one situation at a time.
Right.
You know, and stand for something. You know, have a belief system that you are enough, and that you are equal, that you deserve to be in those rooms, in those different places, on those jobs. You have to believe that you should be there. That's the first thing. If you don't even believe that you should be there, you don't even have a chance. Well, you should believe that you're just as good as they are. And I know sometimes, like when I would work, now I always felt like I had to work double time, work extra harder. But now that I'm older, I don't feel that way anymore.
Right. Well, you did have to work. We did have to work more.
We did, but like as I got older, I knew that my work was excellent. So like if I did any more, I would just probably just disappear or something. like I had already worked so hard. Like, and then another thing, if you work that hard, they want more. Then they want more, and they want more. So you got to kind of have like a cutoff. Like, how far are you willing to go to please somebody? And if they're making you go beyond of what you can possibly do, when you know that you're giving 100%, then you have to move around, because they'll drain you dry, and it's not worth you stressing out trying to fit in or trying to get the promotion when there's no, you know, oh, we're gonna do another project, and after this project we'll talk about a promotion, and then you do that project, and then okay, well, after we finish this one project, you know, it's always was an excuse of why you couldn't get the promotion or you were passed over. And then at some point you kind of realize what that reason was. And a lot of people still stay year after year after year waiting for promotion that's never going to come. Know your worth. Know your worth.
Right. And I always tell people, there is no one better than anybody else, and there's no one less than anybody else.
Right.
We're all the same.
Right.
And that's true. I was talking to that somebody before, and she said, "Oh no, I said, no, you're not better than them. You're not less than them. We're all the same."
Okay, I have one more question. So looking at the country today, politically, economically, and socially, what part of Dr. King's work do you believe remains unfinished? And how do baby boomers and Gen Xers carry that responsibility differently?
Well, we're still fighting for the same things. We're still fighting for the economy,
right?
Housing, insurance.
Yes.
Rates are still going sky high. People can't afford to even think about buying a house now. And living together, you have to live 2 or 3 people together to even survive. And the rates are going up. But you know what? We have been in this situation, and we just all have to do what we can do individually and as a group, because we really are some creative people.
Right.
And so what I would tell anybody, I'm not giving up. I'm saying that 2026 is going to be my best year. Amen. And I'm gonna fight to do it. Yes. And so I think it has made me, going through all that I've gone through, to make me know it can be done. Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Because I'm still here, and I had to go through a lot. Not saying that I was any different than anybody else, but I had to fight for some of the things that I went through. And like you said, I realized when I was not being treated fairly as the person that was sitting next to me. But I let them know. But the one thing about it, when you stand up for yourself, people do respect you.
Yes.
And and like I said, I respect people. I respect myself, and therefore I will respect you. But I will not let anyone disrespect me. That's just something I don't take.
Yeah, you don't.
So sorry.
To answer that question, I think our responsibility. What I love about this episode is how rich of the stories. Miss T, you were there. You have actual stories that you can contribute to let us know about the history, to not forget it. So your responsibility is to share these stories. Let me know how your struggle was. And then it's my responsibility to pass your struggle, my struggle, on to the next generation. I think it's our responsibility to share, to educate, to let the young ones know, how important it is to fight, to believe, and to not let Dr. King's dream just diminish. Like, we don't want to ever, I just don't want him to ever be forgotten of what he did. He did very major things at a very major time that affected so many people around this world, this entire planet Earth. And no other person has done anything that has surpassed his work. People do fight, they do change laws, but no one has ever stood out like King did. So I think our responsibility is to make sure that we just keep passing on the stories and the experiences on to the next generation, so that they know what to stand for and who they are. Because you never know where you're going if you don't know where you came from.
Well, that's true. And we really need to help each other. The older people, some of us stay in these positions so long, but you need to mentor the younger people. You don't own these positions. You've gotten that position, but think about somebody coming behind you. So we need to help and support one another. We need to lift up one another, not just, so there's so much negativity out there. So be the positive person. When you see a young people and what they're doing, because I take the Uber and I ride with a lot of young people, that they do have a plan. And I'm happy to see that, and a lot of them, the Uber and Lyft, they're part-time jobs. That's not their full job, but that's the job that supplements their income. So I'm happy to see those young people. And also, we as young people, if you can mentor people and help somebody, sometimes this country has really become so selfish. Some of us have so much and we don't help anybody. So you can help anybody. I don't care if it's on your street. I don't care if it's in your church. in a school, in your family. We just need to lift up people. If you don't do anything else, to say, you know what, you did a good job. Compliment people, because I don't think we do that enough. When a young person does something, instead of saying everything that they do bad,
Right.
say something that they did good. If anything, oh, you look good today, or that was really nice what you said or what you did. So I think that if we get back to the positive and not the negative, this country and world would be better off. I really do.
Right. And if we do say something negative, make it to where it helps someone.
Right.
Like I don't believe in like a young man can't be around me sagging.
Right.
You got to pull your pants up or your butt down. You got to do one or the other. So those are the kind of things, if we see these things that, make us a target or make us look a certain way, we should, get in there, get in the trenches and like, come over here, young man. You need to do this and do that. Like, we should be able to speak freely. It's really not like that, because I see people, I always speak up or say something. If I see something I don't like at the store, some young kids are cussing, I'm like, oh, no. I'm a grandmother. No, you're not. Don't do that. I'm sure your mother, wouldn't want you, using that kind of, wording around other people. But people are using the F-bombs. You go to the store, they're just saying whatever and doing whatever. So, oh my God, like we really need to, be the lead and be the example. Right. I always pull somebody to the side. Right. I know I shouldn't, and it's not my business, but is it really not my business?
It is a way to do it, because sometimes you have to do it with a certain part of really loving and just tell them, you know what, I'm just trying to be here. Because I remember when I was working at the phone company, and we would see some of the young men and women that would come in to apply for a job. And so if we would go there and we'd see them and we said, young man or young lady, I think you need to watch how you're dressed when you come here.
Right.
Because you're trying to get the job. Once you get the job, maybe you can transition, but you're trying to get the job right now. So you need to come here and act and look like you want a job.
Yeah, the part.
Yeah. So you just have to, and it's not, you have to have a 3-piece suit, but at least be looking nice. Right. And clean, and clean shaven, hair, neat, whatever.
Right.
With
Professional.
Whatever. Yes.
Professional.
But and once you get there, then maybe you can slowly try to make a change. But when you're trying to get the job, go like you want a job.
Right. Because I used to volunteer at the women's shelter, helping them with their outfits, because a lot of women, they just may not know how to present themselves, with wearing a dress, or, you should have pantyhose on. You should have clothes, no open toe shoes on an interview. That's just how I was raised. And even how to wear your makeup properly to go on the job. So we need to definitely give back, and wherever we're needed, we need to find what our talents are and help bring up another individual.
And there are a lot of organizations out there that we can help, the ones Dress for Success, giving clothes to them.
And that's, I work with them as well.
Right. And other organizations with their makeup. I can't help them with their makeup. There's somebody out there can help them with it. But there's everybody can do something. You just can't sit home and watch these soap operas and stuff like that. There are people out there who really need help. And so we just need to look around in our neighborhoods and our communities, and even in our own families, and that people may need help. And so we just need to help each other and think about somebody other than ourselves. I know I say that a lot, but I really just get tired of people that only think about themselves, and only when they're in a crisis and they want everybody to help them, and you haven't helped anybody. So that's just the way I am. That's the way I think.
So let us know in the comments section, what would you do to make a change in the lives of another person in this world today? Is there anything that you think you can contribute to someone else? Go ahead and put that into the comment section. We love to hear from you. Also, while you're there, if you could please subscribe, like this video, and ring the bell for more videos and episodes to come in the future. We would really appreciate that.
Too. And also, guys, this weekend is the celebration of Martin Luther King. So there are a lot of events out there. So I'm asking people to go and support these events, because the more you support, the more they'll want to do them. I've talked to a lot of people, and some people didn't know about them, or I can't go, or have excuses not to go. But we just need to support each other. I think that once we show that more and more, then this nation and this world will be a better world. I really think that. So, think about it. I know you may have something already planned, but there's events going on Saturday here in Surprise. And there's also a lot of events probably going on Monday, which is the official holiday.
Yes.
For his holiday. And he's one of few people that has a federal holiday. So I am glad about that. And as you can see, I have my shirt on. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us in this episode. We love you guys. If you have any questions or concerns, just please leave them in the comment section, and we'll be sure to get back with you.
Thank
all right,
you.
That's all I have, girl. All right,
that's
then.
All right. Well, thank you. Bye, guys. Have a good one.
Welcome to the photo gallery. Here we have the childhood home of Martin Luther King. We have Miss T and her friend standing in front of his home. Now you have Miss Margie standing in front of where Dr. Martin Luther King and his wife Coretta Scott King are laid to rest. This is in Atlanta.